Be honest with yourself for a second. How many times have you said, "I'll do it later," when it comes to something so small it would literally take you less than 2 minutes? Maybe it's replying to a simple text message. Maybe it's washing a single dirty plate in the sink. Or maybe it's that quick email you've been meaning to send, the one that's still sitting there as an unread draft for days. Here's the funny thing. Each of these tasks would take you 30 seconds, maybe a minute. But when you delay them, they don't just disappear, they pile up. Suddenly, your inbox has 100 unread messages, the sink is full of dishes, and that little thing you could have done in a snap now feels like a mountain of stress. And let's be real, it's not that you're lazy. You're not. The truth is, our brains have a sneaky way of turning tiny tasks into heavy mental burdens the longer we put them off. That constant feeling of "I still have to do this" takes up energy, distracts you, and makes you feel overwhelmed before the day has even begun. But what if I told you there's a ridiculously simple trick that can break this cycle instantly? A method that top performers and productivity experts swear by, and the best part? It only takes 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. Stick around, because in this video, I'll show you how the 2-minute rule can rewire the way you handle tasks, kill procrastination before it starts, and help you get more done with way less stress. You see, procrastination isn't always about being lazy. That's a myth. Most of the time, procrastination is actually a defense mechanism. Your brain looks at even the smallest task and says, "Ugh, this is going to be effort. Let's avoid it." But here's the irony. When we avoid these little tasks, they grow in our minds. Something as simple as making a quick phone call starts to feel like climbing a mountain. And the longer we wait, the heavier it weighs on us. Think about it. How many times have you had a tiny, nagging task on your to-do list for days? You keep pushing it to tomorrow. Then, when you finally do it, you realize it literally took you 60 seconds. That's the trap of procrastination. It tricks you into believing that starting is harder than it actually is. And that's why highly productive people do something differently. They don't let these small tasks live rent-free in their minds. Instead, they use a simple strategy to crush them before they even have a chance to grow. It's called the 2-minute rule. It's not complicated. You don't need an app, a fancy planner, or some secret hack. You just need to remember this one principle. If a task will take you less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. No negotiations. No postponing. Just get it done and move on. This one habit might sound too simple to be powerful, but as you'll see in a moment, it has the potential to completely change the way you approach your day, your productivity, and even your mindset. So what exactly is the 2-minute rule? At its core, it's incredibly simple. If something will take you less than 2 minutes to complete, do it right away. Why? Because the time and energy you spend thinking about doing it later is often way more than the effort it takes to just do it now. Let me give you an example. Imagine you just finished a cup of coffee. You could walk to the sink, rinse the cup, and place it on the rack. That's 30 seconds. Or, you could leave it there. Tell yourself you'll handle it later, and let it sit. Soon, 1 cup turns into 3, then a sink full of dishes. Now, instead of a 30-second action, you're staring at a 20-minute chore that feels overwhelming. Or think about emails. You open your inbox, see a simple message like, "Can you confirm the meeting for tomorrow?" It would take less than a minute to reply, "Yes, 10 a.m. works for me." But if you skip it, you'll open that email 5 more times, reread it, stress about responding, and end up wasting 10 minutes of mental energy on something that could have been handled in seconds. That's the beauty of the 2-minute rule. It's not about doing everything instantly. It's about clearing out the small, nagging tasks before they build up and drain your focus. Productivity expert David Allen, the author of Getting Things Done, calls this rule one of the most effective ways to stop procrastination in its tracks. Why? Because starting small breaks the resistance. Once you take action, your brain shifts gears from thinking to doing. And here's the kicker. This doesn't just work for chores or emails. It can apply to so many areas of your life. Need to send a quick thank you text? Do it. Need to put your shoes back in the rack? Do it. Need to jot down an idea before you forget it? Do it. The 2-minute rule trains you to act instead of delay. Over time, those tiny actions compound into massive results. It's like a snowball, small at first, but as it rolls, it grows into unstoppable momentum. Now you might be thinking, okay, this sounds simple, but why does it actually work? Here's the secret. The 2-minute rule takes advantage of how your brain is wired. You see, our brains are naturally resistant to starting tasks, not finishing them. Starting is the hardest part. Psychologists call this the activation energy, the mental fuel you need to get going. That's why the thought of working out for an hour feels exhausting. But once you've put on your shoes and taken that first step outside, it suddenly feels much easier. The 2-minute rule hacks this system. By lowering the barrier to entry, it tricks your brain into action. You're not telling yourself, I need to finish everything right now. You're simply saying, I'll do this one tiny thing. And once you've started, momentum kicks in. It's the same principle behind the famous Zeigarnik effect. Our brains hate unfinished business. When you begin a task, even a tiny one, your mind naturally wants to close the loop. So instead of leaving it hanging, you're more likely to keep going. Let's make this real with an example. Imagine you need to study for an exam or work on a big project. If you tell yourself, I have to study for 3 hours, your brain panics. But if you say, I'll just open the book and read for 2 minutes, that's easy. 2 minutes later, you're already in motion, and most of the time, you won't stop at just 2 minutes. You'll keep going. That's why highly productive people rely on this trick. They understand that success doesn't come from huge bursts of motivation, but from small, consistent actions that build unstoppable momentum. Think about it like this. Big wins are just the result of dozens of tiny 2-minute decisions stacked over time. Replying to that email now, rinsing that plate now, opening that book now. Each one is like a domino. Knock over enough of them, and you create a chain reaction that carries you forward. All right, now that you understand what the 2-minute rule is and why it works, let's talk about how to actually use it in your everyday life. The beauty of this rule is its flexibility. You can apply it almost anywhere. Let's break it down into different areas. 1. At home, instead of saying, I'll clean the house this weekend, use the rule for small actions. See a shirt on the floor? Fold it now. Done eating? Wash that plate immediately. These tiny actions prevent clutter from building up and make your home feel calmer and more organized. Over time, it becomes second nature. Your environment stays clean without ever feeling like a massive chore. 2. At work, think about your email inbox. Instead of letting quick replies pile up and haunt you, answer them immediately if they'll take under 2 minutes. Got a document to file? Drag and drop it right now. These micro actions keep your to-do list light, so you can save your brain power for the big stuff that really matters. 3. With personal growth, maybe you've been meaning to read more. Instead of promising yourself an hour a day, start with 2 minutes. Just open the book and read a page or two. The trick is, once you've started, you'll often keep going. But even if you don't, you've still made progress, and consistency is what builds habits that last. 4. With health and fitness, struggling to work out? Don't pressure yourself to go to the gym for an hour. Instead, put on your workout clothes and commit to just 2 minutes of stretching or doing 5 push-ups. Often, once you've started moving, you'll naturally want to keep going. But even if you don't, you've already won, because you showed up. 5. With relationships, small gestures matter. That quick text to check in on a friend, that thank you note you've been meaning to send, both can be done in under 2 minutes. Do them right away. These tiny actions compound into stronger connections and deeper relationships. Here's the golden rule to remember. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. If it takes more than 2 minutes, start the first 2 minutes of it. This way, no task ever feels too heavy to begin. Think of the 2-minute rule like the spark that lights the fire. It may seem small, but it sets everything else in motion. So let's bring it all together. The 2-minute rule is simple, but it's a game changer. If it takes less than 2 minutes, do it right away. And if it's a bigger task, commit to just 2 minutes of starting. That's it. Why does it work? Because once you get started, momentum takes over. Your brain loves to finish what it begins. And the best part? These small actions stack up. They keep your space cleaner, your work more manageable, your health stronger, and your goals within reach. Remember, success isn't about giant leaps. It's about consistent, tiny steps repeated daily. The 2-minute rule is proof that greatness often begins with something so small, it almost feels too easy. Now I want you to think about one task you've been avoiding. What's the very first 2-minute action you can take on it today? Share it in the comments, because putting it out there makes you more likely to follow through. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. In that one, We'll dive into another powerful productivity hack, the 5-second rule, a science-backed method to overcome hesitation and take action instantly. You don't want to miss it. Remember, don't wait for the perfect time, start with 2 minutes. Because big wins start small.